Greetings to you all. I wish to congratulate Sahel Capital on the occasion of its 10th anniversary. I am delighted to share in your very special day. Sahel Capital is the outcome of the power of vision, tenacity, diligence, and the ability to stay focused on delivering results. What's unique as well is that it's been run by a dynamic couple, Mesue and Ndidi Iwuneli. Now, I think you must have a great relationship to be married and be in business together and doing it all so well. After all, the common saying is that when money enters, love goes out of the window. Well, for you, it looks like both money and love are right within the household. That's great, well done. Yet both of you are so different as well. Ndidi is ebullient and very outgoing, and Mesue is so quiet, down-to-earth, methodical. You better believe that. They, however, share something in common. They are both smart and have a passion for development. Now, I met both of them at different times. When I was Minister of Agriculture of Nigeria, I have great memories from then. I was engrossed in my drive, of course, to transform agriculture in Nigeria. We were having visible and rapid successes and all across the agricultural value chains, from rice to cassava to maize to soybeans to dairy to cocoa, oil, palm, livestock, and others. We had ignited a massive revolution. Now, the core of that transformation was what I call government-enabled, private sector-driven agricultural transformation. Now, the role of the government was simply to enable, and the role of the private sector was to develop and integrate the agricultural value chains. Of course, I recognize that these gains will not be sustained unless government puts in the private sector at the very heart of the transformation and ensures that there are vehicles that will ensure access to financing to the private sector. The banks have started to lend more to agriculture due to the great successes of the NISAL facility to de-risk lending by banks to the agriculture sector, which I had helped to establish with the then Central Bank Governor Sanusi Lamido and the Nigerian Bankers Committee. Our efforts transformed commercial lending to agriculture. Think about it. NISAL became an instant success. The share of agriculture in the overall lending portfolio of commercial banks rose from a minuscule 0.5% to 5% in a short period of time. The default rate at the time, 0%. NISAL is today a non-bank financial institution and the only one in Africa fully dedicated to de-risking lending by banks at scale into the agricultural sector. Now, but small and medium-sized agribusinesses were finding it hard to get financing structure to help them to grow their businesses. The financing by banks, for them, was at high interest rates. For the short term, not matching the maturity of the agricultural investments. Now, I saw a huge opportunity to develop a private equity fund that will support the small and medium-sized agribusinesses. Now, with my very bright senior advisor, Ada Osakwe, we embarked on this journey to develop that vehicle. The KFW, Germany's development bank, was so excited. They teamed up with us in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. We worked at an amazing speed. From the conceptualization of the idea to the actual launch of the fund took just about 12 months, a remarkable speed. Now, I recall at the time the director of KFW said they had never seen anything like that anywhere in the world they've been working. Now, we had galvanized a buzz about Nigeria. Now, I took a bold decision to put in $20 million from the government into the fund, this government money, and $750,000 for technical assistance facility to ensure that the businesses had technical assistance. KFW joined in with an additional $14 million. The Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Fund put in $10 million. The African Development Bank put in $9 million. They must have thought I was coming here. Now, that's how Nigeria's first private equity fund, Fafin, dedicated to small and medium-sized agribusinesses, was established. Following a very transparent and international and globally competitive bidding process, Sahel Capital was selected to manage the fund. We were impressed, and I was, by Sahel Capital, but I had insisted they had to open a special window for agriculture. Meswe was very clear that he will need to hire new experts in agribusiness so their already well-structured fund can then further diversify into the agricultural sector. Now, I found in him and Sahel Capital a passion, a drive, a commitment to Nigeria's agribusinesses and farmers, and that was really great for me to see. Today, Sahel Capital has raised more funds for Fafin. At its final close, it had raised $65.9 million. Sahel Capital is doing impressive investments through Fafin. Let me just talk about some of them. Now, one of the investments which I was really very impressed with was one made to expand dairy production in Kano State. At the time, ShopRite supermarkets in Lagos imported all their fresh dairy products from South Africa. Sahel Capital saw an opportunity and invested in a family-owned dairy business, L&Z Farms in Kano, set up by a man and his two wives, whose initials are L&Z. Well, maybe the reason they invested was because they also found another couple doing business together. Now, even though they are three, MD Abubakar and his wonderful two wives, they are really amazing. Sahel Capital revamped the management of L&Z. They helped them to professionalize the staff. They invested in new dairy processing equipment and, of course, lots of new dairy cows. The tide turned. L&Z, in a short period of time, supplied a major share now of the dairy milk at ShopRite supermarkets in Lagos. That's the power of a well-run private equity fund as Sahel Capital, using the funds from Fafin. Agriculture is Africa's #1 comparative advantage. Transforming agriculture is the fastest way to create wealth and lots of good quality jobs. With the size of the food and agricultural market, estimated at over $1 trillion by 2030, the future millionaires and billionaires of Africa will come from agriculture. Africa must capitalize on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, a market with a population of 1.3 billion people, by producing more food, doing so more efficiently and sustainably through agro-industrialization, one that supports smallholder farmers and, of course, the private sector. Now, that's why I committed our bank, the African Development Bank, to invest $25 billion in agriculture. The bank is supporting, with 16 million euros, the agricultural company of St. Louis in Senegal to process and market 42,000 metric tons of white rice per year in the local market. In Gabon, the bank is supporting with 10 million euros the establishment of new plantations for oil palm value chains that will boost the production and export of refined cooking oil, crumb oil rubber, and toilet soap for domestic and regional markets. In Mali, the bank is supporting Moulin Modern du Mali M3 with 70 million euros to manufacture pasta, couscous, and flour from wheat, from maize, and of course from millet. In Sudan, the bank's $75 million investment in DAL Company, one of Sudan's largest food and agribusiness companies, will support the company's vertically integrated food and agriculture operations to transform Sudan's agriculture and food industry. Of course, right at home there in Nigeria, the bank is supporting Indorama LMA Fertilizers and Chemicals with $210 million for the construction and operation of 2 urea fertilizer plants, total capacity of 2.8 million tons per year. The bank provided $300 million corporate loan to Dangote Industries for the establishment of crude oil refinery and a urea fertilizer plant with 2.8 million tons per year capacity. Now, these investments will soon turn Nigeria from a net fertilizer importing country to a fertilizer exporting nation. That's the way it should be. African agricultural systems must become modern, integrated, and well supported to achieve production and processing of food and agricultural products and farm inputs at scale. We must have chocolate factories. We must have garment and textile factories, dairy factories, and meat processing factories. Essentially, Africa should end being a supplier of raw materials by developing competitive national and regional agricultural value chains. Now, the youth must be encouraged and supported to move into agriculture as a business to create greater value and wealth for the sector, driven by their innovations, smartness, business acumen, and so on. I'm impressed with the large number of youth now moving to agriculture. I feel so proud because it was a movement that I helped to catalyze and to ignite with my bow ties. There is excitement everywhere by the youth in agriculture. Already the bank has provided $406 million to support 23,000 young agripreneurs in 14 countries. And just last week, the bank supported $120,000 cash prize awards for dynamic youth-owned agribusinesses being powered by innovations all across the agricultural value chains. Now, the general manager, Toto Yao, of the youth-owned Agricultural Growth Connector in Togo, now that's been supported by the bank, said, in 3 years, we have gone from exporting 2,000 tons of soybean to 10,000 tons. That must be the story of African agriculture. Now, that's why the African Development Bank is currently working with other partners to design a Pan-African private equity fund for agriculture. We call it Fafin, Fund for Agricultural Finance, now in Africa. Experiences from Sahel Capital on the Fafin Fund will help us as we now scale interventions to support small and medium-sized food and agribusiness companies all across Africa. I am delighted that I invested in Sahel Capital and in Mezzo and Ndidi. It was an investment that's now paying off very well. I wish Mezzo and Ndidi and all the staff at Sahel Capital, as well as their investee companies, greater successes ahead. Congratulations.